Another episode, Sports Talk with Playeragent 3. My guest today, if you want to learn how to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, rope-a-dope style,
Yep.
shoulder roll, or just to get in shape, look no further for my guy, Kenny Williams of Pride Boxing and Fitness.
Miguel,
What's
up?
good?
Ain't nothing much, man. What's going on with you, man? Thanks for having me today, bro.
Hey, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, this is where I started, trying to get in shape. I remember coming here, putting in that work,
Oh, yeah.
and the results were amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about your program, man. Why did you start this program?
Man. So, why? Actually, to be honest with you, Miguel, man, I kind of just fell into this, bro.
Okay.
Well, I fought amateur for years. I kind of thought I was done with it, to be honest with you, man. And you got boys, man. I had a son, and one day, man, I'm in a barbershop, just kind of working with my son a little bit, man. And one of the barbers asked me if I could train him, and I didn't think much about it, man. And stopped by his house one day. He had his nephew with him. Man, gave me $40 for working with him and his nephew for an hour, man. And next thing you know, man, I'm started doing this, man. But since I enjoy, man. To be honest with you, man, just young people being able to using bait, man, to try to kind of to get them in here, man, and kind of change direction in life and all of that good stuff. But that's my heart for doing what I do, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah. So from my understanding, you used to be a professional boxer.
Nah, so
Or you didn't get to that rank.
Right,
Okay,
man. Yeah,
okay.
so I fought on the amateur level, man, for years, on and off for about 8 or 9 years, man. And what happened with me, man? I got married, found man, my wife, man, and perspective on life changed, man, priorities and that kind of thing, man. So I call myself just kind of moving on, man.
Was there a certain inspiration for you to start boxing?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to, when we were coming up, especially in high school, I knew you to play basketball. So where did this boxing thing come?
Yeah, man. So, man, I'm originally from New Haven, Connecticut, man. So we, in high school, that's kind of when we got here, man. And in New Haven, man, there was we had at the local Y, man. They had I didn't necessarily box. I wasn't on a level or I didn't get started like I did here, man. But they had a spot, man, at the Y where I went. I saw some Bloodsaw ring for the first time, and it kind of piqued my interest then.
Okay.
I moved down here, man, and there was actually a guy who stayed in our neighborhood, Berkshire Downs, man. Jeff Gill, his name was Jeff Gilchrist.
Okay, yeah. I remember him.
Yeah, man. So he was from Philly.
Okay.
And he boxed in Philly, and I was, man, for like 2 or 3 months, man. I was over there hard. You know what I mean? So this is while we were in high school.
Okay.
Moved to in my freshman year. I went to North Carolina Central, man. So freshman year, man, there was a gym right around the corner, man, from the school, man. And at the time, I really wasn't doing much, to be honest with you, man. Just there kind of for all the wrong reasons initially, man. And happened to stumble into a boxing gym, man, and that's where I met my coach, who I really kind of credit with, allowing me to kind of blossom the way that I have, man, in this boxing thing,
So that pretty much leads me to my next question, because you talk about, when you talk about boxing, you talk about cities like Philly, Detroit,
Yeah.
New York, Los Angeles,
Yep.
but then Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that go over? Because, like I said, when you talk about boxers, most of them come from the bigger cities.
Yeah.
So how did that translate?
Yeah, man.
To the South.
Oh, man. So that's actually a really good question, man. And to be honest with you, man, this is one of those things, man. Once you really start diving into, just what boxing really is, man, you know, we even now, man, I have guys who fight at a really high level, man, on the amateur level right now, and that is a stigma, man, that just kind of plays North Carolina boxing, period, man. You know, we're not a big boxing state. Actually, people don't really expect much out of us, you know, but I'll be honest with you, man. My boy, we've been, you know, they had killers. They're supposed to have killers up in Cleveland. You know, they're supposed to have killers up in D.C. Man, we've been to all these places, man, and you know, we worked there. We've been and we won, you know. So although that stigma is there, man, we're doing everything we can, you know, my gym personally, man, to kind of change that. You know
so, but how do you get kids interested in boxing? It's in the South, in Raleigh, in the Triangle area. Yeah. I mean, what's your? I mean, how do you tackle that angle? I mean, what do you do for that?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Like that kind of goes back to like my why I do this, man. Believe it or not, man, you know, boxing, man, serves many purposes. You know, obviously, man, you can use it to get in shape, get stronger, and lose weight and all of that good stuff, man. But you know, I had the opportunity to work at a program called Second Round, which is downtown Raleigh. Yeah, under Haven House.
Haven House. Yeah.
So, which is a nonprofit. 85% of the kids that we had in our program weren't necessarily there to box. It was, you know, either, you know, you go through this program or you go and do your time. Which one you want? You know, so we had kids who came through, man, with ankle bracelets on. So what I'm getting at is, you know, a lot of those kids weren't necessarily there to be the next Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson or anything like that. They were there, man, because they needed, man, direction. They needed discipline, you know what I'm saying? And for most of them, man, you know, they just needed somebody who would encourage them, man, and let them know, man, that, you know, man, you'd be surprised how far a good job would go. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, I think a lot of the kids that I attract don't necessarily just come because of the boxing. You know, I think, like right now, there's probably, I probably got about 30 kids signed up, you know, for my 8 to 14 age bracket. Out of those 30 kids, we got 5 that compete.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So the rest of them are just here, man, for bully problem. You know, we got to take care of the bully.
Okay.
Overweight, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Now, when you talk about boxing, you talking about being in top shape, conditioning. I know when I came here, it was brutal.
Yeah. Oh, you a monster though. Okay. You a monster though.
It pushes you.
Working.
It pushes you mentally, and it tests your will to get in boxing shape. Can you talk about the conditioning and what it takes for these kids to be able to go, whether it's 12 rounds or 10 rounds? What type of conditioning does it take for these guys to get at that level? Yeah,
man. That's man. So my thing is what I tell people, man, is man, this is boxing is a lifestyle, man. This is, man, other sport, basketball, man, you got 4 other people on the court, man. So you know, you miss an assignment, somebody can slide and step up for you, man. Football, man, you got, man, 10 other guys on the field. Boxing, you are the ball. You're the ball, right? One false move, like my man Biggie said, one false move gets Swiss cheesed up, right?
Yeah.
So it's the first part, man, is, man, just mentally knowing, man, you know, half of the stuff that we do, man, like the conditioning is not even so much physical as it is mental. You know what I mean? So, like, mentally, man, you have to be in a spot where you have to push yourself to a place beyond where you think you can go, you know, because the truth of the matter is, man, you know, for people who really want to do this, there are people, man, there are guys who die doing this, you know what I mean? So, you know, I think it starts just mentally, you know what I mean? Mentally setting yourself up to know that you're going to have to go well beyond where you've been used to going before.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people a lot of people don't understand that if you're in boxing shape, you can pretty much
Oh,
do
absolutely.
any sport that you want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You know,
man. Absolutely.
you know, these guys, and I see the stuff on HBO. You know, when they showing the training and some of the things, the workouts that these guys are going through, man. It's if you're in boxing shape, you can do anything you want to do.
Absolutely.
You know.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah, man.
I got to get back in here.
Hey. Look, man, we waiting on you, Miguel. Yeah, man. Look, Miguel was getting out. Just so y'all know, man. Look, don't take that. The player agent stuff, man. Look, Miguel. He's a lethal weapon, y'all. So don't play him short. You know.
All right, that's good stuff. So talk about styles and technique. What?
Yeah.
Boxing is a science.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that's correct?
Absolutely.
What's your style, or what do you teach kids when they come in here, or do you let them develop their own style? Because you got Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people are enamored by Floyd Mayweather in the shoulder roll.
Yeah.
So how do you teach kids to box the right way instead of, you know, trying to, you know, mimic Floyd Mayweather or some of these other boxers?
Yeah, man. That's another really good question, man. So I'm a fundamental guy. You know what I mean? It's the way that I train. My coach, man, who I still consider my coach, Coach Willie Massey, man. He's in Durham.
Okay.
He taught me, man, the very fundamentals of boxing. Like I said, I don't, you know, I considering, you know, there are guys who leave the amateurs with 200, 300 amateur fights. Right? I didn't have that many fights, man. You know what I mean? But I credited the way that I train, man, mainly to, you know, my coach, man, with just the basic fundamentals. Now, you mentioned the shoulder roll. The way that I see it is you start with the fundamentals. Jab, for instance, in your feet. Really big, personally, man. Your jab and your footwork has to be on point.
Right.
So when a guy comes in, walks into my gym, and you know, he wants to be the next world champion, that's where we're gonna start. You know what I mean? Along with the conditioning part that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
From that, there's tools. I see it like a guy that's going to build a house one day, man. If he shows up, man, all he has is a hammer and a nail, man, he's limited, right? But he shows up, he has a hammer and nail, saw, some concrete, and you know. So once you get, you know, the fundamentals, we could throw some tools in the tool shed, man, like the shoulder roll and all some of this fancy stuff that you kind of see from these guys who've been doing it. Something else, man. You know, you look at Floyd, he's been doing this since he's 2 or 3 years old. You know, so,
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Okay. The sport of boxing, man. What happened to the sport of boxing? You don't see the heavyweights, the a la Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Roy Jones Jr. What happened to the sport?
Man, I think there's MMA, obviously, you know what I'm saying. So you know, that kind of took off a little bit, man. And then I think, man, I heard, I think it was Teddy Atlas, man. He was talking about this too, man. Like most of the, like for instance, the heavyweights, man, they could go right now, man. Most of the heavyweights, man, they on football field. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas back in the day, you know, especially, you know, if we start talking about, we should really start breaking it down, man, especially from the African-American athlete heavyweight, man. You know, back in the day, we didn't have a whole lot of options, man. Nowadays, man, you got kids like I know you're going to have Coach Lucas on, man, and you know, he's pumping out D1 talent.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, that's where they going. You know what I mean? Yep. So you got the explosion of these other sports and stuff, man, and so boxing is kind of one of those things that's kind of taking a back seat. You know, it's more options.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't see the rumble in the jungle, the thriller in Manila. You don't see those brawls anymore, man, like you did when Ali and Joe Frazier and those guys were coming along. You know, is it I don't know. Is it a more finesse sport now, or
okay, I see where you're going.
What's happened? What's happened to the sport?
Yeah, you know what? I think I see where you're going with that. Yeah, man. I think man, the Floyd effect. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
It's the Floyd effect, man. Now Floyd fought some guy when he was younger. Now Floyd fought, but man, there's even with my man, like I got some highly skilled, man, highly talent, man. Some great kids in my gym, man, and I gotta constantly, kind of remind them, man. They, sometimes, you gotta crawl before you. I mean, you gotta, crawl before you walk, man. And everybody wants to be that dude now, man. And
yeah.
Where back in the day, man, social media, you know what I mean? Like, you look on social media, is everybody could be that dude, man. So, nobody, even real trainers, man. Like, the mid work takes the place of real training, you know what I'm saying? Because you go online and see a guy doing some fancy stuff on the mitts. People think that that's boxing. Fighters think that that's boxing, and it translates over, man.
Right.
So there's a lot of reasons, man. But I think that's probably one of the main reasons.
Okay. Now I want to ask you this question because I'm sure you get a lot of questions from parents. Is boxing safe? And I want you to give me your honest opinion. I know you're a boxing guy. You live for this sport. Is boxing safe?
No. I mean, just to be honest with you, it's not. You know what I mean?
And I don't mean to cut you off, but
go ahead.
And I say this because of what Muhammad Ali suffered late in life. Joe Frazier took a beating. I mean, a lot of these guys, a lot of these former heavyweights, Mike Tyson, a lot of these guys took a beating. And, I mean, Muhammad Ali, he died with Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
What is it that you tell these kids as well as these parents about safety when it comes to boxing?
Man, boxing is, first off, to answer your question, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, there are risks that you take signing up, for a boxing class, But there are risks that you take when you hop in your car every day and drive to work. You know what I mean? So the way that I see it, man, is, especially for a kid, and now statistically, because I do get this question a lot. Statistically, believe it or not, man, football, soccer, well, those two specifically, I mean, when you talk about the brain injury thing is the thing that's big now, right?
Right, the CTE.
Yeah, yep. So by far, there are more concussions, more injuries as a whole on the football field than there are in boxing. You know what I mean? I think the taboo, especially amateur boxing. In amateur boxing is totally
they
different.
They have the headgear, right? Does that have an effect?
Yeah. So they have headgear. Amateurs wear shock absorbing gloves, which means that it takes some of the heat off of the shots if you catch them. Whereas in the pros, they have shock emitting gloves, so it's the opposite.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So on the amateur level, much more safer than football statistically. Than football in soccer. You know what I mean? But man, we talking about the sport. I tell people like this, man. Look, if especially the ones who come in and they want to actually do this, man. Like, man, there's a lot about boxing is like life, man. You're gonna get hit, and sometimes it's gonna hurt, right? Sometimes you're gonna get knocked down. But man, I'm teaching kids how to get back up, man. If everything that happens in the ring, man, translates to real life. It's not gonna be easy. Sometimes it's gonna hurt, especially for our young men, man.
Right,
It's what they need. You know what I mean? But to answer your question, man, it's a risk that goes up. But I think basketball players, football players, any sport that you talk about playing at a high level, man, there's gonna be some risk involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now, does that make Floyd Mayweather a genius based on the tactics that he employs in the ring? Like Floyd doesn't like to get hit.
Oh,
You know, he's basically a defensive fighter, right? So does that make him a genius in terms of avoiding those pitfalls once he retires?
Yeah, and again, I think, you know, like earlier we talked about styles, man. I think that plays a big part in it too. You know what I mean? Like the style that I teach, you know, specifically, like, you know, this is hit. Floyd will tell you it's hit and not be hit, man. And Floyd was able to use that, man, to stay pretty. You know what I mean? And to stay coherent. You know what I mean? You got some guys like, man, Muhammad Ali. Like, I'm not telling my guys to do a rope-a-dope. You know what I mean? Sit back on the ropes and take 50, 60
beatings.
shots. Yeah, and then come back. You know, you use Joe Frazier too, man.
Yeah.
Joe Frazier was a dog. You know, he stayed on you. He's taking 5 or 6 in order to get that 1 or 2 good ones off. You know what I mean? So you fight with that kind of style. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's inevitable, man. Some things are inevitable.
Right. So I got a tough question for you. Now Kenny Jr. is boxing, correct?
Yeah.
Are you afraid for him?
If I'm honest, I am.
Yeah, I want you to be honest.
Look, do I get? I'm more nervous for Kenny than I am for any, and it's just I think it's a natural thing. Even dad, if you were playing basketball, Miguel, I'll be the same. I get nervous when you get on a basketball. On basketball.
Yeah, but this is a different animal, though. I mean, you know, boxing is a different animal, and you know you're gonna take a beating if you stay in the sport. You're gonna take a beating.
Yeah, I guess so. For me, like long term, Kenny and I, man, we've had this conversation already, man. And to be honest with you, man, I don't think Kenny wants to. I don't think Kenny's a smart kid, man. You know, I mean, not saying that boxers on, but I'm just saying like Kenny doesn't really want to do this. You know, what I mean, he does it because I do it, man. Because I'm here. I mean, he wants to do it, but he's not trying to be. I don't know, man. He might want to do it. My thing, honestly, man, since I gotta be honest, right? We talking about this. We talking about it honest. I don't want him to be a pro fighter. You know what I mean? Like. You know, I work with a lot of pros, man, and been all over the country at a high level with this, man. And you know, it is a brutal sport, man. So, you know, when I look at my son, if he wants to do it, I'm going to support him. But personally, you know, just you know, would I want him to make a career out of this? If he's the way he is now, no, because he doesn't really want it like that.
So what do you tell him each time he goes in the ring? Like what are you talking to him about?
Yeah, so like on this level, Miguel, like on the level that when you talk about amateur boxing, the way that I see this, man, there's so much more to this than just the boxing, man. Like, for instance, my son, like Kenny, if he wasn't doing this, man, Kenny would be at home, man, playing a PlayStation 4 and on his iPad. And so what Kenny understands is, like, listen, you know, what I'm using this for is to say, listen, man, you can't do what you want to do all the time. You have to, there's sometimes, man, hard work is hard work. It don't matter if it's in a boxing gym or where it's at. You got to learn how to work hard and have some type of discipline, right?
Exactly.
And even man, like competing. What I love about this is, like, right now Kenny's ranked 8th in the country, man. He's the 8th ranked.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the 8th ranked kid in his weight class, right?
Okay.
Now, you know, so which means that Kenny has some talent, right? He has some skill, right? For the normal kid, like for me and you, Miguel, like you a baller, man. Like, you know, he's gonna want. I wanted to be I wanted to stay champ. All that stuff that Lucas is doing out there, man. I dreamed about.
Okay.
Kenny, on the other hand, gets ranked 8th, and to me, man, and to him, that's just cool. That's just enough, man. You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, I gotta be on him, pushing him about wanting more. So what I'm saying is, like, there's so much more to Kenny coming in here, training, getting in the ring, than just him getting in here and fighting, man. There's a whole lot of little things behind the scenes.
Life lessons.
Absolutely. That we're working on. That's what it's about for all of these guys when they come in here, really. We get a champion out of that, hey, that's icing on the cake. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I'm going to drop a few names for you.
Okay.
And I want you, the first thing that comes to mind. All right, I'm gonna drop a few names, and I want you to be honest. I don't want you to speak from the heart.
Okay.
I don't want you to speak from the heart.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Great.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
In my opinion, the GOAT.
Roy Jones Jr.
Blessed.
Pernell Whitaker.
Nasty.
Oscar De La Hoya.
Gritty.
Okay. Now, I just want to go back to one of these names.
Okay.
My opinion, Roy Jones Jr. is the best fighter I've ever seen in his prime.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather he can't touch him. My opinion.
I know. Man, so
in his prime, not when he.
I get it, man. You know what? Listen, man. Man, there's a kid here, man, who in North Carolina, man, who's making some pretty decent noise, man. Who Roy actually trained. So Roy is in some ways connected to the area a little bit. Man.
Okay.
I had a chance to meet him, talk to him. Cool dude, man. You know, man, really good. And like you said, in his prime, man, you know, Roy was a monster. But I always talk, man, when I had this conversation, man, you look at him and Bernard Hopkins, right?
Right.
Both fought well into their 50s. Bernard was able to sustain his career a little bit longer than Roy. You know why, man? Going back to what we talked about, man, earlier, man, the fundamentals. So what you see with Roy, man, honestly, Roy was just
talent, man. That was just talent.
Head above shoulders, faster, quicker, stronger than everybody he got in the ring with. But one thing you ain't outrunning, Miguel, man. Look, you already know.
It's Father Time.
Oh,
man.
Absolutely.
Father Time is undefeated.
And that's what it shows, man. So when you talk about like the greatest of all time, man, I'm not necessarily just talking about records, man, but I'm just talking about what you see with Roy is at a young age, man, he's just in their head, clearly head above shoulders, better than everybody he gets in there with.
Yeah.
He ain't have no guy except for James Toney. He did smack James Toney. He beat James Toney. I can't tell you a lot. I thought James Toney was going to destroy him. But other than that, man, he really ain't have that defining guy. And then what you see later on in years, not even so much that he got old, man, but again, from a coaching standpoint, man, I just look at, man, just the fundamentals, man. And that's what kind of, don't get me wrong, top 5, no question about it.
Right.
But
I mean, and that kind of goes back to the Michael Jordan thing. How when he got older, he developed those post moves.
Yeah.
So that, you know, that pretty much took him over the top.
Yeah,
you know, he had the fundamentals down.
Absolutely.
So I guess the same applies in the sport of boxing.
Absolutely.
Talk about your program, you know, Pride Boxing and Fitness. Talk about it. You know, let everyone know, you know, what they need to do to get involved. You know, your contact, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, you know, there's quite a bit that we do over here, man, to be honest with you, man. I have a program for 8 to 14-year-olds, man, that we run on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 6:30 to 7:30. You know, you don't have to have any, you know, prior boxing experience or anything like that, man. Just, you know, come ready to work. You know, look, I tell people, man, even with the young guys, man, I don't baby them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you're looking for, man, a program where we can deal with the bully, man, instill some discipline, lose some weight, build some confidence, man, perfect time time slot, man, for that age group. From 7:30 to 9:30 in the evenings, man, is when my competition level team and guys who want to at least train like they're going to compete works, man. Open to anybody, again, no special, you know, you being here competing with some high-level guys, man. But, man, I have people in there, the weekend warriors in there working with them as well, man. And that's from 7:30 to 9:30 every night.
So where are you located?
Yeah, so we're at 1315 Fifth Avenue in Garner, North Carolina, in the Forest Hill Shopping Center. For now, we're actually going to be moving right next door, you know, really soon. You know, we're going to have a little bit more room, more toys and stuff like that, man. So, you know, 13-15-ish area, man, is where we'll be. You know? Okay. What's your
Instagram and Facebook handle?
So you can find us at Pride Boxing Fitness on Instagram. My personal Instagram is much more the boxing stuff that we do is at kpress_42. You can find us Facebook, Pride Boxing Fitness.
Okay. All right. Last question, man.
Sir.
Top five.
Ooh, top
five.
Like
top
I said,
five.
Oh, Sugar Ray, man. I like the man. Sugar Ray is my number one.
Leonard.
Leonard.
It's got to be Leonard because Robinson.
Right, man. People say that. I mean, I've seen him, man, but I can't.
You didn't see him. Top five that you've seen.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard. I like Sugar Ray Leonard, man. I like Floyd, man. You know, Floyd. You know, obviously, man, you got to put him in there. Man, Muhammad Ali, because again, like we talked about earlier, man, there's so much more to this than just getting in here, man. You know what I mean? I think he transcended a generation of people, you know, with using the sport of boxing, man. So he has to be in there. Man, another guy, skill-wise, man, James Toney, you know what I mean? James Toney in his prime, man.
You don't hear that name too often.
Oh, nah, man. But again, man, I'm a pure boxing guy, man. I look at it from a different, man, lens. And number 5, man, let me see. Roy's in there, you know.
Gotta be, man.
You know what?
I don't know how you leaving him out.
I got to give Roy, man. Roy's in there, man. Just because, man, he was probably, I agree with this. He's the most skillful fighter that ever lived. No question about it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, hey, man, I appreciate everything, man, and
man.
You know, I want to end this quote, and I don't know if Mike Tyson said it. I know it comes from the boxing arena, but everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's Mike. Yeah, that's Mike Tyson. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
You know,
hopefully I can get you back on. We can talk a little bit more, but I appreciate this opportunity to come in your ring, man.
Oh, man, Miguel, thank you, champ. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, Sports Talk, Playeragent 3.
All right, now.